Hi everyone, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly horoscope. My name is Terence Gardino. This is a very important week. Mercury is going retrograde, but also it's the first week after the solar eclipse that triggered for most of the world on Sunday, the 13th of September. And as I had said last week, you don't want to make really important decisions the week before or the week after a solar eclipse because the energy is really unsettled. And Mercury is slowing down, meaning that it's getting more intense of what you are processing information, making decisions. But then on Thursday, the 17th, it turns retrograde. But on Wednesday, the 16th, it's what we call it's stationary. It's no longer going backwards, but it's no longer going forwards, but it's not yet going backwards. So you're only having a couple of days here where you might be really pondering some very important choices to be made, but it was just right after the solar eclipse. So I would advise to not make any critical life decisions unless you have to. Now, the good news is that Mercury is transiting through Libra. And Libra seeks a fair judgment, a win-win situation, good for compromise. Libra is the sign of the scales. And so when Mercury is retrograding, this can be in Libra, can be a time overall that we are weighing all the possible options. It's just that when Mercury is just going retrograde around the 17th and then going direct on October the 9th, this is when the decision-making process may be a little bit too intense. And in Libra, that might just basically mean we're being more indecisive and you don't want to force a decision, particularly this week. Also on Thursday, optimistic, expansive Jupiter is interacting with dreamy, imaginative Neptune. This can trigger a lot of spirituality, compassion, idealism. But you got to be careful because Mercury is turning retrograde, and with Jupiter to Neptune, that might be some foolish optimism. You might be too much with your head in the clouds and your feet are not so firmly planted on the ground into reality. And also on the 17th, Saturn, that is back in Sagittarius. So Saturn went into Sagittarius once every 30 years, the end of December 2014. But as I've been saying in my videos, from mid-June of 2015 to September the 17th, 2015, the Saturn had retrograded back into Scorpio, hoping that you would tie up any loose ends, bring some closure. Mainly, did you learn the lesson of what Saturn in Scorpio would have meant for you? Whether you've learned it or not, the focus is now on Sagittarius for the next 2 years. Overall, Sagittarius is more optimistic, more interested in growth, in learning, in traveling. Scorpio, and Saturn's that planet of karma and taking a good, hard, realistic look. But Scorpio is dark, it's penetrating, it's psychological. So these past couple of years, and over this, particularly since middle of June up until September the 17th, could have triggered a lot of deep soul searching and a lot of heavy lessons to confront. But now we're moving into Saturn, that planet of responsibilities, into Sagittarius, and we're looking more towards the future, more towards the growth, and with more optimism, more lightness. The thing is, with all this, with your mind being churned, and there might be all this idealism of Jupiter and Neptune, you don't want to make any really important decisions now that Mercury's in retrograde, and especially this week being the first week after the solar eclipse. But within 2 weeks from now, when Mercury is in the middle of its journey through the retrograde motion, it ends on October the 9th. So maybe around the very end of September, the very beginning of October, Jupiter or Mercury is going at its fastest speed, so it can be stronger with making decisions. And maybe after 2 weeks from now of weighing, at least a week and a half, of weighing a lot of decisions, all your different options, and we're pulling away from the solar eclipse energy, you could start really thinking about important decisions. But then again, in 2 weeks is a full moon lunar eclipse that can trigger a lot of emotional reactiveness. So we'll save that for 2 weeks. But if you have to make a decision, you have to make a decision. Make an agreement, sign a contract. But if you can just hold off, ask other people's opinion, do more research, sit with it, sleep with it, you'll be better off in the long run. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week for my next segment. Until then, stay calm during this very important shift of energy this week.